I'm Ryan Blackstone,
And I'm Hayden Robertson.
and we are so excited to show you 605 Walnut Avenue. This house is on progress to be the first passive house in Arkansas. There's a lot to unpack about how awesome this house is, and Hayden's gonna go ahead and take us through a tour to really discover what those amazing things are.
Yep, we've got a lot to cover. Come join us.
Wow, man. I mean, this place looks amazing, but I want to know a little bit more about like it being passive certified. What does it mean to be passive certified?
Yeah, so this house has passed a massive amount of regulations as far as energy efficiency goes, and it could even be up to 90% as efficient as just your standard regular home.
Dang, that's pretty amazing. So who are we working with? Who decided to build this and make it happen?
Yeah, so we've been working with some incredible people. The architect is Michael at Bowerbird, and the actual builder is Alex Munson with Munson Construction.
Dang, that's awesome. Well, I know there is a lot of different things about the build of the house that I don't really know, and I'd love to dive deeper into what are those things.
Yeah, this has been a fun process, and what I've learned is it's very simple and highly detail oriented, so we have a lot to cover.
Let's go. Hayden, you were telling me earlier a little bit about like the 5 key principles that would make this a passive house. What are those key principles?
Yeah, so it starts with a massive amount of insulation and air tightness that helps reduce the energy demands of the house. It's also got very, very efficient windows and doors to help reduce that loss as well. It's also built in a way that it reduces thermal bridging, which is just heat loss or cooling loss between the interior and exterior walls. And the last one, it is compact built, and it is strategic in the way that it's situated to either minimize or maximize heat gain. Like for example, in the winter, you want more heat coming in to help heat the house, and you want less heat coming in during the summers when you want it to be cool.
So Hayden, tell me a little bit more about this airtight, vapor permeable barrier that we have.
So it is simple in concept, but brilliant in execution. So what it is this house from underneath the slab all the way up to the ceiling is sealed in a membrane that, as you suggested, is airtight. So you're not losing unwanted air out and you're not gaining unwanted air in. Yeah, in addition to that, in the summers, it helps facilitate drying, and it also helps in the winter facilitate against condensation building up in between your wall and the exterior, which could cause rotting.
Okay, so it keeps what you want inside and makes sure what you want to stay outside,
Exactly.
right?
Yep.
Okay, so then how does it do with, if you're breathing air all the time, how does it make sure you have clean, good air in here?
I'm so glad you asked. Let's go over here and take a look. This is an energy recovery ventilator. What it does is the air that comes in helps transfer energy to the air going out. So the hot air coming in transfers that energy to the cold air coming out and vice versa. And what this does is it constantly circulates the temperature and the air that you want. So that way it's not turning on for an hour and then shutting off, turning on for an hour and then shutting off. It's constantly at the temperature that you want, using the transfer of energy to reduce your energy bill.
Okay, so that's very interesting because an old builder would say you want your house to breathe.
Yeah.
But this is actually saying, hey, no, we want to control when the house breathes, and we're gonna make sure we transfer any energy between that air that's breathing from the outside to the inside, right?
Exactly. It's the entire purpose is to reduce that energy bill, and if it helps, you can think of it like the lungs of the house.
Okay, so that's really interesting. So if it's controlling really the air that's going in and out, we talked about windows and doors. Can you really help me? How is it any better than any other window that any other builder is putting on?
Yeah, let me show you because you got to see it.
Hayden, so obviously I could see this door is different. It's got these crazy hinges. What's happening here?
Yeah, so in a normal home, most, if not all, of your energy loss comes from openings. So that could be in between the doors, it could be at the hinges, it could be a gap in your insulation in the walls, things like that. So what this is sealed, and it's intentionally built to be sealed from that energy loss in between.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I also am noticing like just how thick it is. What's going on there?
Yeah, so this is actually far above standard. Typically, in most homes here, you've got double pane windows and doors. This has an extra layer, so it's triple pane, which is even up to 99% UV blockage on top of the energy efficiency of just your normal double pane.
That's kind of crazy. So you're saying that that's the same thing we have going on with the doors as well as the windows?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I've obviously noticed, we've got this window up here. Is there a different purpose to this window?
Yeah, so these triangle windows that you can see right up here are custom built for this house, and they serve a very specific purpose. This house is oriented north-south, and these are southern-facing windows. So right now we're in summer. We've got a bunch of leaves on the trees, and we have a higher sun angle. It actually, the way it's oriented, reduces the sunlight coming in based on the sun's angle. Now, with a lower sun angle and there are no leaves on the trees, it actually lets light in that heat up the air and the concrete floors that we're standing on to help keep that balance of temperature.
Okay, that's interesting. So even the floors, which is a beautiful stained concrete floor, is serving a purpose, storing up that energy from the sun in the winter times. But then those trees, which I love, Fayetteville is full of trees, it's allowing the shade for in that summertime.
Exactly, you got it.
Man, that's incredible. And it's, again, it's all passive. It's funny, it's like 90% energy savings, and we're not even talking about solar panels or wind turbines or anything like that.
None of that. And what I find fascinating is it's very simple in the concepts, but it has a massive payoff when you actually execute it right.
Wow, man, this is incredible. So with this 90% savings, I noticed that the AC unit was pretty small. It's like a mini split system, right?
Yeah. So it's actually a ducted mini split. So it actually has ducts. You can see some vents up there. And the beautiful thing about this is that you don't need a huge unit to heat it. Because of how airtight and energy efficient it is, you can actually reduce the size of the unit and further reduce the cost if you have to repair it in the future or replace it because it is so small.
Okay, so there is a piece where the actual appliances or machines that are going into the house are energy efficient as well.
Yeah, they've all been thoughtfully procured for this specific purpose. There's actually a couple that we can go take a look at. Do you want to?
Let's do it.
Cool.
So I noticed that they installed a washer and dryer in here. That's just not normal for whenever you sell a house, period. Why did they go ahead and install these here?
Yeah, so kind of like we've been talking about throughout, everything in here is thoughtfully procured and the appliances are no exception to that. This specifically has been chosen because the way this clothes dryer works is it actually dries on a lower temperature and it reuses hot air as it dries. And what it does is it condenses the moisture from the clothing and sends it down a drain about the size of a quarter.
Oh,
so instead of having a big dryer vent that's, this size, you've only got a very small penetration to the outside, and that helps actually reduce the energy loss through penetrations going outside.
Right. So, because most normal houses, we have a huge 3 to 4 inch penetration for that dryer vent, but that's not here.
No, it doesn't exist. It's about the size of a quarter, maybe a little bit bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So also, I see the water heater there. Talk to me about the water heater.
Yeah, so this is a heat pump water heater, and it is located here strategically. So part of the Passive House certification is the hot water lines have to be as short as possible, right? And so it's here because we're going hot water to this sink right here. We're going hot water basically directly above us, and it's only about 10 or 15 feet to the sink. So when you talk about having hot water quickly, there's not very far for this to travel, right? And so it helps reduce energy loss if it has to travel very far across the house, right?
Right. That's actually funny because in our office, our hot water heater is on one side of the building.
Yes.
And so it takes such a long time to get hot water on the other side of the building. So it's here because it's literally the shortest distance to, and they had to keep the distance at a certain level.
Yep.
Man, what's really cool about this home, Hayden, is yes, it's awesome in the passive, but they also didn't go light on just the overall design. I love these wood floating steps that we have here with the black metal pieces.
It's gorgeous.
So this is interesting, Hayden. You have a flat roof, which I typically do not like flat roofs. Are we good with this roof?
Yeah, we love this actually. It's designed specifically to accommodate a live garden.
No way!
For all of the energy efficiency we've talking about, you can actually add some green plants up here if you wanted, some flowers, whatever it is, and that's totally okay because it's designed to hold it.
Okay, so yeah, if it can hold a live garden, there's no way that this is gonna leak because it can take so much more, right?
Yeah, it can, and there's this membrane out here specifically for those leaking purposes.
Okay, that's amazing. And I love also that they decided to go with the standing seam metal roof. What I love about metal roofs is they just last a long time, but most metal roofs have a lot of penetrations with the screws. But with this, the metal actually just wraps over. Just like, I feel like this entire house, it's basically saying, hey, there's less active stuff here. There's way more passive protection that you have. And that's what a standing seam roof does.
Yeah, so that would help with water penetration, correct?
Yeah, it won't, basically, yeah, typically if you have these screws, it has a little rubber membrane that you would have to replace every 5 years. But with a standing seam, it'll last just as long as that other metal roof, but you never have to go back and re-screw. It'll stay like this forever.
Oh, so that's actually cheaper as far as repairs go because you don't have to maintain it.
Yeah. Now we haven't even gotten into the primary bedroom. Can we go to that one next?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you've got deck access not only from the main living area, but also this primary. Oh man, in the creek you could see some deer right now in there. I love that. I love the privacy.
Seasonal creek,
nature all around. And then I also love that they didn't go cheap on even the other items. Like all your plumbing features are from Delta and they have lifetime replacement. Yeah. And then all this has soft close cabinets throughout. And then I love that this shower is handicap accessible so you can kind of stay in place.
Absolutely, yeah.
I just love all the features that they have incorporated into this. The high quality and attention to detail.
It's the most thoughtful house in all of Arkansas.
That's awesome. Man, Hayden, thanks so much for giving us this tour and just really educating us. If I were to just look at this house and walk in, I would never know the amazing things that you just pointed out about this house.
I didn't even know it was possible until we started working on this project.
Yeah.
Now I just want to tell the whole world about it.
Yeah, like literally, why do we not just do all of these houses like this?
I wish this was standard practice.
Yeah. It is definitely an essential like Fayetteville core house and I love it.
For sure.
So, thanks so much, man.